Like, how much creative control do you have when you have a television show?
You know what? I hired Greg Eckler, Lawrence Morgenstern, Rob Ross, and Sean Tweedley. They were the writers. Because the beauty of it was the network had no idea how to do a late night talk show. Nobody had any idea how to do a late night talk show. So because of that, the four of them, their first loyalty was to me. And it was great because they were there the whole time. And what happened was they would pitch me. If I liked something, we did it. Like the thing I'm most proud of on that show was the night Sean and Rob wrote this bit for me where it was B-roll downstairs in my dressing room and we pretended I had a nervous breakdown after the show. And it was my proudest moment because Sean said when they were watching it, they thought I really had a nervous breakdown. And it was me wandering around going, where are you from? What are you doing? Going nuts. And then in the shower like this and shaking before the show. And it was really, really funny. And it was something they came down and pitched to me. We didn't even run it by the network, you know. I mean, we got phone calls when something happened, but it was too late. We already did it. Like we had trouble with kids in the lineup outside bumming money off people when people were waiting to come in the show. So Sean and Rob came up with a really funny idea. We hired two actors dressed as priests. And I was doing the show, and I go, we filmed this earlier, and then I go, oh, I know a lot of you folks on the way in, you had trouble because teenagers were coming up to you bumming money, and we didn't know what to do. I mean, we didn't want to hire security guards to beat them up, so here's what we did. And it was priests running along, grabbing them by the ass, and then they would take off and go down the street. So the cardinal of the archdiocese in Toronto called the network the next day and went fucking ballistic. And the network was freaking out, like, what did you guys do? And that was basically how it worked too, by the way, because it was too late. It was already on, and when we got shit, it was, what did you guys do? Because they didn't see it. And the network is going crazy, and Sean and Rob are beside themselves. So I go, you know what, relax. I go, here's how we're going to do it. I said, I'm going to go on the show tonight, and I'm going to say, yesterday we showed two priests trying to molest kids, and the cardinal and the archdiocese are justifiably upset. And then I went, because let's face facts, folks, we had our numbers wrong. And we put pictures behind me of how many priests have actually done it. And it came to like 450, and they were flashing by me. I went, wasn't two at all. And they just kept flashing by, and then we totaled the number at the end. It was like 450, and it aired. And the fucking network went insane, but the archdiocese did not call back because they didn't want to fuck with it any further, right? They were scared shitless. And this was around the time that stuff was going on in Boston, where they made the movie Spotlight about it later on. So I knew. I said to them, "That's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to handle it." And they loved it. We got in trouble with the CRTC twice, and we wound up coming out of it exonerated. So, there's always some asshole watching who would go, "I'm going to phone and complain about this. I thought he made a racist comment." And back then, I don't know if it was like now. I don't think the CRTC can handle it anymore. But back then, they addressed every single one of these situations, and everybody at the network would be up in arms, which cracks me up now because everybody who was at the CRTC then is either a VP at CBC Global or CTV. So don't tell me these guys weren't feathering their nest for after they were done, right? Tell you what's ruined everything. Bell Media and Rogers, they own everything. They own all the radio stations, they own all the TV, and it's two companies. And somehow, somebody let that happen. And it shouldn't have happened. It just shouldn't have happened. Uh, Especially with radio. I mean, now, I wouldn't want to be starting to do this now because I looked at what happened at Sportsnet last week when they got rid of every guy who was good, every girl who was good, who was making a decent wage, gone. Bell Media, CFRB, all the stations. Everybody who was good and was making a decent wage, gone. Bring in somebody right out of school who can't even string a sentence together. Doesn't matter. They're filling time and they're making $400 a week. Let's grab them. And that's what's happened. And it didn't happen in the U.S. It's happened here. And it's criminal. It's criminal what they've done.